Hello and welcome back to Too Many Books. My name is Sean, and today I'd like to talk to you about The Consultant by Bentley Little. But I'm not only going to talk about The Consultant, I'm also going to showcase the three different editions that I own of the title, because why not? Let's do a little book comparison video. Now, all editions of this title are actually through Cemetery Dance, so, they're all very similar in their respects. But there are some slight differences, which I'm going to highlight as we go through them. Now, The Consultant is probably the most middle-of-the-road Bentley Little novel that I have ever read. I talk a lot about how Bentley Little is a very formulaic author. He has a set structure that he likes to attain with a lot of his stories. Most of his novels are the, followed by a noun. Most of them take place in a small town or a otherwise average Joe setting. And your protagonist is himself an average Joe, in this case Craig. A nice little guy working in IT for Compware. And then all of his novels feature some sort of aspect in which a otherwise normal aspect of society kind of comes into this world, but in a twisted Bentley Little manner that kind of turns the town, or in this case Compware, on its head. In this case, it's The Consultant, Regis Patov. This is the trade hardcover edition. This is going to be one of the cheapest editions out there. Nothing too fancy as far as the binding goes. It's almost like a papery kind of cloth binding. Nice little stamping on the spine there. Nothing too fancy overall. But so the story of The Consultant is the story of Craig and his wife and his kid and his friend Phil. He works for Compware, which is having some struggles, and as most companies do when they're having struggles, they bring in a consultant, in this case Regis Patov, only to soon discover that Regis Patov is a very strange man. His smile never quite meets his eyes. He's got a very, very demented snow globe collection, and he is here to make everyone's life a living hell. And so soon the world of Compware is turned on its head. Patov finds himself intruding upon the lives, even outside of work, in their home lives of the employees and their families. And they soon discover that not only are their jobs on the line, but their career, their whole lives are on the line as well. And it just, Bentley Little never strays from his formula with this one. Just like other Bentley Little novels, he comes apart with some very, very pervasive sexual deviancy that just makes you uncomfortable and squirm. He introduces the world's worst team building exercises within The Consultant. And it's up to Craig, his coworker and friend, and his family to try to kind of combat Regis Patov and the changes that are made. And it's just, I don't know. It's not bad. It plays more like a satire, but it's not as funny as like a straight up satire. It's a horror novel with satirical elements. It's just, it takes the office living, office work, lifestyle, and it kind of turns it on its head with just Bentley Little, just uncomfortable horror. It's not a bad read per se, but if you were to check out a Bentley Little title, there are definitely better ones to read. The ending is very disappointing. It's not a terrible read, but it's not his best by any means. If you want one that follows his formula, but I think to a better degree, check out The Mailman, check out The Store. Or if you want one that kind of almost circumvents his style, check out The Handyman. I mean, The Handyman definitely follows similar formulaic elements that Bentley Little does, but he manages to kind of make it all his own and kind of adds a little bit of coming of age in the early chapters and a weird little short story collection in the middle. But I mean, overall, I think The Consultant is, as I said, kind of like the most middle-of-the-road Bentley Little novel. He does the least effort to stray from his formula. He almost follows it to a T. It almost feels like a Mad Libs Bentley Little novel. He knows what's going to work, and he just kind of follows that structure to the letter. So, I mean, it's disappointing in that regard. But, I mean, I guess if you haven't read previous Bentley Little novels, this might be a decent starting off point just because this is showing you what you're going to get. Although, like I said, if you wanted to get that same kind of experience but done to a better degree, the store or the mailman would both be better at achieving that. So there are actually 4 editions of this title out there. I only own 3. I mean, not including, I'm sure there's audiobook, probably an ebook out there as well. But they're all published by Cemetery Dance. There is, of course, the one that's still in print, which is the trade paperback. It's got a little bit of smaller trim size, smaller text font size, but you get your whole story. It's cheap, it's affordable, it's available to you for a pretty low price, and with various coupons that Cemetery Dance might offer, or even if you go to like the secondary market, you can find it for cheaper. As far as hardcovers go, there is the trade hardcover, which, as I said, has more of a papery binding. Nothing too spectacular. It's a trade hardcover. Moving up from that, you do have the signed and numbered hardcover. It has a full cloth binding. I mean, it's still not going to be as exquisite as some of like the fine press cloths, but it's definitely, even putting them side by side, a significant improvement over the trade edition. Has nicer end papers, nice little texture to them there. Of course, it does have the signature page from Bentley Little, 750 copies there. It does also obviously have different artwork as well. All of these are done by Elderlemon Design, also known as Keelan Patrick Burke. I do have to say, I kind of do prefer the trade edition. I mean, this is much better from a horror aspect, but I feel like the trade edition kind of captures Regis Patov's, demeanor. Nice little bow tie that you're going to have seared into your mind as you read this, whereas this more enigmatic snow globe collection is kind of on display in the signed and limited edition. There's also a signed and lettered edition as well. That one is 52 copies, I believe. That one is bound in full leather. Has some nice, it's bonded leather, nothing too fancy, but it has like the full stamping on that. If you wanted to see an example of what the leather edition would look like, I don't have that one, but I did do a book comparison video for The Revelation by Bentley Little, and I did showcase the lettered edition in that. It's very much the same design as that, although with Consultant instead of Revelation. But they kind of followed a nice uniform style there. So, yeah, all in all, The Consultant is a middle-of-the-road Bentley Little novel. I've read worse. I hated Dispatch, for example, but I've read a lot better as well. I mean, he doesn't really do too much to branch outside of his formula, and I feel like that formula was better done in the store or in the mailman or even the handyman, which, like I said, the handyman is probably my favorite novel by him now. Man, you can skip a couple of the chapters in the middle with the short story collection. I did a whole review on that, discussing that. But overall, I think that was just his strongest novel that I've read by him thus far. But anyways, thank you guys very much for watching. Check out Bentley Little if you want a good dose of kind of horror, satire, kind of satirizing some aspect of modern society that you would otherwise take for granted. He has a new one coming out this year. Oh my God, what was it called? Not the DMV. DMV was his last one, but there was another aspect, another one coming out very soon from Cemetery Dance, coming out in trade hardcover. No sign limited edition yet for that one. But anyways, thank you very much for watching. Please consider subscribing to the channel here. I do at least one book review a week, plenty of unboxing videos, and book comparison videos whenever I can. And we'll see you around next time.